So, with the reveal of the next Battlefield title just around the corner in June, I'm really excited to see what direction the franchise is going to take and how good the next game is going to be. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about what's already been confirmed into the next game and what I'd love to see in it as a fan of the franchise, and just a way of saving the franchise from its inevitable death if it produces another awful game. It's been 3 years since the last title was released, and I'm really excited and waiting for the next title to come out and absolutely blow it out of the water. A lot of these facts and statistics are from Battlefield Bulletin on Twitter, so please go and drop him a follow. He has a great account on there and is really informative, and if you want the news, you better go over to him, so drop him a follow. He is linked in the description. So what we know is that Battlefield 6, or Battlefield as some leakers seem to believe the next title is going to be called, is being developed by more studios than ever before. 5 main ones we have so far is DICE, Criterion, DICE LA, EA Gothenburg and Industrial Toys. Well, I don't know much about Industrial Toys, but I believe they're an up and coming studio that this could be their big break for. This Battlefield 6, the next title, is their big break and could lead them on to making other fantastic games in the future. Criterion's another big one. They've made plenty of games in the past, very standard, very good company. DICE and DICE LA, they've made Battlefield all the time, fantastic company, they know what they're on about. And EA Gothenburg, obviously Battlefield franchise is an EA title, so that is obviously to be expected. Now, the fact that they're working with so many different developers really suggests that they are putting as much time and as much effort as they can possibly into the title to make it the biggest game that we've seen so far. It's going to launch on current gen, so PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and also last gen, so PS4 and Xbox One. So if you've not been lucky enough to get your hands on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, don't worry about it, because it will release on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, so you can all enjoy the game. Obviously it's going to release on PC, that was never a doubt. It's releasing in holiday 2021, so right at the end of this year, but we know that the trailer or the reveal is going to come in June. I hope the reveal is fantastic and it really sets up the building blocks for an incredible game. We know that it's going to be military combat, so no hardline, no cops versus robbers, and it's going to have more players than ever before. I reckon that it will probably be 128 players minimum, so double 64 as it usually is now. But we've seen on Call of Duty and Warzone 150 players easily acceptable, and even 200 player quads was happening not that long ago. So 200 players on the same server would have seemed incredible a long time ago, but it really is an achievable thing that Battlefield could look forward to have in the next game. A Gaming Bible, a relatively established page on the internet, and they have announced that they predict a major shift of players from Call of Duty to Battlefield at the end of this year. So that could be that the next release of COD sort of misses if it's another World War II game, and that Battlefield hits hard. It could be the turning tide that brings back the franchise in the favour of Battlefield. Now, that's everything that's been confirmed. That's everything we know so far about the actual game. Really, we could see some better information in EA Play in July. Now, here is what I would like to see in the game. Now, I'm going to be referencing Call of Duty Modern Warfare quite a bit because it's a fantastic game. It really set the trend for future first-person shooter games and what we can achieve with them. So I'd like to see attachments. Now, I'd love to see Battlefield use an attachment system so that you can add whatever you want to a gun. Now, we've seen this in Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War. Fantastic different arrangement of attachments that you can add to your weapons to make it however you want. Obviously there's going to be a meta, but you can include whatever attachments you want, and that's got to be something that Battlefield are looking forward to doing in the next title. Otherwise they could miss out on a very good opportunity. Now, the next thing I think we should include in the next Battlefield title is weapon mastery camos. I'm not talking Gold Damascus or Diamond or Dark Aether or whatever you want to call it in Call of Duty titles, but I think there has to be something that Battlefield players can grind for so that they keep coming back to the game. Now that could be calling cards, emblems, such things like that, which obviously are in the Call of Duty franchise, so probably not, but there has to be a grindable element that people can really get a grip of. Obviously Tides of War is a good step in the right direction that was introduced in Battlefield 5. Now the next, I think more customizable character elements should be introduced. Now we had the epic skins in Battlefield 5 and epic operators which you could just buy from the store, but I think if you can include different elements and different characters in the game rather than just the standard people and then whatever you unlock on the journey in Battlefield 5, but if you could grind for something, that would be a big step in the Battlefield franchise, so that you could actually, you know, do something with your time and grind on the game rather than just playing it for the sake of playing it. And if you could grind for something, whether that be weapon camos, player skins, customizable elements in the game, that could really bring people back to the franchise from what we've previously seen where it's died very quickly. The next thing is cross-platform. If there isn't a cross-platform element in the next Battlefield title, the game will die. Cross-platform is what is bringing more people to the game, bringing them together because they can play with their mates that are on a different platform. You know, as a person who uses PlayStation, all their friends are on Xbox. Call of Duty, the recent titles have been amazing for that because it's on cross-platform and you can play with your other friends. Now, an easy way of doing this would be release the game on the Epic Store so that PC players can access it easily, and everyone has an Epic Games account if you played Fortnite in the past, Rocket League, or various other games on PC and console. And it would just mean that you don't have to have a certain Battlefield account to play with your friends, and it would just be an easier move for both EA and Epic Games to get the games pushed out further and more people playing them. The next thing I think should be included is more planes and tanks than Battlefield 5. Now, as a person who went through a phase of wanting to play with planes and tanks on the game, it did feel like you'd have to wait forever just to get a chance to be in a plane. So the fact that if there's more players and bigger maps, there's got to be more tanks and more planes available to use. And if there's more than that, then people who enjoy the planes and the tank gameplay are gonna come back for more. And I also think that if they add other vehicles like bikes, helicopters, like snow buggies if there's a snowy map, and drivable cars, that kind of thing, it's just a little quality of life patch that basically means that you could be free to drive around and do what you want and get to A to B faster than just running. And that could be something that really sways the game for Battlefield, just adding in little touches like that. The next thing is an FOV slide. Now, the FOV slide has been added to Black Ops Cold War, and you can actually see better in your peripheral vision. Now, that is better not just for players, but for people who are in vehicles as well, because you can actually see around and see if people are trying to blow up your tank or blow up your plane, or if there's other planes in the sky around you, and that's quite useful for you as a player so that you can actually like defend yourself properly. And the next is keyboard and mouse portability for console users. As a person who uses the PlayStation but obviously wants to upgrade to a PC eventually, using a keyboard and mouse on certain games like you can in Modern Warfare and Cold War, it's really useful to be able to practice on those games so that when you do upgrade for a PC and you're gonna go into PC only lobbies, you don't get completely swallowed up and never want to play the game again. And it's useful just to be able to practice and get better and master your craft on the keyboard and mouse rather than just being stuck on controller like it's locked on Battlefield 5. Like there's no way of playing on keyboard and mouse on it on Battlefield 5 or any other title before that. But the Battlefield 6, if they add keyboard and mouse portability, that could be a way of getting more people in to practice on console lobbies and then PC lobbies. Now the maps, DLC maps such as the War in the Pacific were fantastic on Battlefield 5, but we need those kind of maps from day one to be repeated and throughout the life cycle of Battlefield 6. And if people do that, then you're onto a winner straight away, because you need to be able to have elements that bring people back to the game, and the War from the Pacific is literally the only reason why multiple people play Battlefield 5, because the rest of the maps are pretty meh. But as soon as you add in a kind of D-Day Normandy vibe attack, or like the Americans attacking the Japanese and beaches and stuff, people want to play it because it's more interesting. And it's, speaking of being more interesting, the game modes, we need more like Rush. Modern Warfare has games like Infected, Gun Game. Black Ops has Prop Hunt, which is just better. There's just more party games that you can play with your friends, rather than sweating your life away in ranked on Cold War, or sweating your life away trying to compete in the skill-based matchmaking on Modern Warfare and Warzone. But party games are where it's at. Party games are what bring people back. You know, you've got S&D on COD, which really brings people into playing the franchise. Yes, it's very toxic, but yes, it's very funny, and you and your mates can have a laugh rather than sweating your life away in other game modes. And that's really about it. I think if they add at least some of the elements that I want to see in the game, it will make it much better, a much more complete package, rather than just, you know, the standard Battlefield that we've seen so many times before. And it could really stand out in the franchise and stand out as a game that is going to be the next big thing. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Obviously I'm not really well at the moment, so if my voice sounds awful, I do apologize, but there's not really much I could do. I wanted to get a video out for you guys, so I hope you enjoyed. Please do like and comment any other things that you want to see in the next Battlefield title that could improve the game and improve the quality of life for you guys. And I'll see you in the next one.